Hello everyone! It has been a very long time since I've done a video update. I actually think that my last video update was before the launch of Tomb Raider, so I have a lot that I wanted to kind of touch on and catch up on and so forth. Firstly, if you don't follow me on Facebook or so on, I chopped off my hair, so I probably look a bit different to those of you who haven't seen me in a while. Actually, I didn't chop it off. The very talented Linda Lee Vampy Bit Me chopped it off. She showed up at my scissors and I said, "Do it!" And she did, and I'm so happy I did because it is significantly easier to take care of, and I just like how it holds curl better and so forth. So, yay, haircut. So yeah, I think any of you who follow me know that like the launch of Tomb Raider went fantastically. It was an incredible, crazy period of time. The culmination of a couple years of really incredibly hard work. And since then, not right away obviously, but things died down a bit, and I've been able to really make time to catch up on personal things and visit friends and make costumes and go to conventions and kind of recapture a little bit of my personal life. So it's been really fun since then. Before I dive into all of the fun personal stuff though, one of the highlights of this year has definitely been being asked to host Square Enix Presents at E3. So after launch, that was kind of one of the big highlights for me, was getting to go and sit in this glass booth at the Square Enix booth at E3 and do tours and talk to famous developers and interview them about upcoming games like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15. Like, no big deal, that was pretty awesome. So that was super cool. Right after E3, just a couple of days later, Sebastian and I left for Hawaii. It was my vacation that I had been planning for, it felt like years. I hadn't taken a proper vacation in probably a decade. Most of my vacations are used for convention times, and so I thought, to treat myself after the Tomb Raider craziness and madness, we went to Hawaii. We went to both Oahu and Maui. We spent, I think, a total of 9 days. It was amazing. I didn't get any color. I put on SPF 100 to make sure that I didn't burn or get too much sun, because the last time I was in the sun, I ended up with freckles all over that I still permanently have because I burned so bad, which was lovely. I actually burned the day before I left for my interview at Crystal Dynamics, so I showed up looking like a lobster. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, so then the rest of the year I feel like it's been catching up on cosplay, getting to really work on some awesome new projects that I've wanted to do for a while. And one of them is this. I'm so proud. Atomic Wonder Woman. Look what I got! Look what DC sent me. Yes, she's beautiful. So the second I saw this statue, I'm not even joking, I uploaded the art of the statue to my Facebook work in progress page. I was like, yep, I'm making that. I mean, like, this is ridiculous. This is one of the most hilarious and awesome things I've ever seen in terms of what Wonder Woman looks like. So she's from the Infinite Crisis MOBA. She's pretty badass looking, and so I had time to put her together for San Diego ComicCon, which was super fun. I made most of the armor out of Warbler. I scavenged a lot of the pieces from different thrift stores, so the ties and so on. But a lot of custom work went in it too. Like, I couldn't find the right color leggings, so I got white ones and dyed them and so on. But I managed to pull that one off in about a week and a half, including the chainsaw, which still works, which I think you can see just a tiny bit of it right there behind my Daenerys costume that I'll talk to. There's the chainsaw! Yeah, so that was a ton of fun to wear. She just really, it's actually comfortable, comfortable costume with flat shoes and a giant chainsaw, and running around Comic-Con was just super awesome. And speaking of Comic-Con, I got to stay with some awesome friends, and meet a ton of people and do, a bunch of photo shoots, and so it was really awesome to sit and collaborate with so many talented people at Comic-Con, because the last couple of years, I only was able to do one costume because I was working and so on. It was great. Another one of the costumes I did was the Camilla D'Errico Helmet Girls tribute, which was really fun, and it was a way for me to pay tribute to an a traditional artist, not just like someone who does character design, but someone who just paints, you know, paints pictures, art for art's sake. And so it was cool to do a character that wasn't from a comic, but it was just, you know, this creative thing. And so I think I'm going to actually try to do that more in the future. I'm going to try at least once a year to do a costume based off of a piece of art or a painting or something. I think that would be a really fun challenge. Trying to decide what my next one will be. So if you have comments, suggestions, feel free to let me know. I've got a couple of ideas, but we'll see. Excuse my sniffle. Next up was DragonCon, which was my absolute first opportunity to go to the show. Usually I'm unable to because it always conflicts with PAX, and I have to work PAX. So I was super excited to have the opportunity to go. I got to stay with some friends that I actually met through the Tomb Raider community. They were awesome. And it was unlike anything I have ever experienced in my life. The convention is just nutty. It's all in hotels, so the best part about it is if you're tired, you want to rest your feet for a few minutes, you just go up the elevators, which granted, sometimes the elevators take a half hour to an hour to come down to you, especially if you're on the 24th floor. But you can just go upstairs, rest your feet, and come back down. There's even, you know, food and restaurants in the hotels, so it was just like this big giant party and celebration of fandom, and you know, I geeked out. I sat there and I geeked out about other people's costumes pretty much the entire time, just walked around totally blown away. And what I also loved about it is that people during the day would take costumes super seriously, but then at night they would kind of put on like silly or funny costumes, so you see all these weird crossovers or things that you'd never even, you know, thought to bring to life. So that was super cool. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I love it. Other than the heat, which was a little rough. And I really hope I get to go back next year. But one of the things that I worked on really hard for DragonCon was my Castlevania costume, which is my Gabby. I call her Gabby Belmont from Lords of Shadow. And it was something I had started a couple of months prior, but I didn't have enough time to get it ready for ComicCon. And so I just delayed it, and I dedicated, oh man, this was rough. I mean, like marathon nights, even though I really tried to get it done in time and pace myself. It just ended up being, as always, it ended up being a couple of like 24-hour marathons of me watching Doctor Who and Supernatural and so on. So I have a couple of props. So a lot of this costume was actually made out of Warbler and PVC. So this one's PVC pipe, Warbler. It's the piece I'm probably most proud of because the chain actually comes out. Yay! And then clay. So it's a little bit on the heavy side, but I was pretty happy with how that piece turned out. Let me grab a couple more. And this costume actually has 2 gauntlets. So this is the dark gauntlet, the bit more ornate one, and the other one's a bit simpler. And then these, the cyclone boots, were the things that kind of drove me mad. I'm glad I don't throw away things right away, because my go-to shoes are actually usually a pair of black knee-high boots, and as I was retiring an old pair, I almost threw them away, but I'm glad I didn't, because they ended up being perfect for this outfit, which I built the boots right onto them. So that was a ton of fun. That was like, at the time, it was kind of the costume I felt the least like myself in, because I really felt transformed. This is my new one that I feel the least like myself in, but I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, it was really, really fun working on that one. And the nice thing is that I had almost an entire hide of cow, of red leather, hide of cow. I had almost an entire hide of red leather left from my Wonder Woman costume, and so it worked perfectly for Gabby's jacket, which was an adventure to do. And you can read all those costume construction notes on megan-marie.com if you want to get into the details of how I made it. I just want to show off some of the fun stuff in the meantime. Yeah, and then speaking of Warrior Wonder Woman, she came back recently. I wore her to San Diego Comic-Con and had the opportunity to really document her and share you know, that with different photographers and have some really interesting locations, so I was excited about that. But recently, last weekend, I went to the Palace of Fine Arts with Andrew, a local photographer and friend, and we shot there, and it was just pretty much the most perfect thing ever. It looked like Themyscira, and I felt like it was kind of the culmination of all the hard work and ideation over the years of trying to bring this character to life, finding this setting that was so perfect for her. What is this? I will fix it now. So, yeah, it was awesome. I feel, I'll continue to wear her and I'll continue to shoot her, but I feel like now I've at least got those shots, the one shots that really help to document all of the hard work. So I'm very excited about those. Last but not least, this. So I was given the incredible opportunity to meet up with Anna Fisher and some of her cohorts and do a Wild Places shoot, which if you don't know what that is, it is essentially she brings cosplayers from all over the nation to these incredible wild untamed places and takes some of the most fantastic cosplay photos ever. And so we went to New Mexico, but the caveat, the exciting thing about it was that we were going to stay with George R.R. Martin and do a Game of Thrones theme shoot. So naturally, I freaked out beyond reason. I found out about this opportunity about 2 weeks before it was going to happen. Then it took a couple of days to work with the other girls who were amazing, and I've shared all about them, and they're so talented, but to decide who was doing what characters. And eventually, Samantha, she goes by Cupcake Disco Cosplay, we both decided to do Daenerys because she already has, like, one of the most incredible Daenerys I've ever seen on the web. And so I decided to do this version. And I had a week and a half to make it. So I picked this version because I was really attracted to the idea of making this leather bodice thing. I don't know the technical term. But, yeah, I made it from shopping to completion in a week and a half. So this right here is veg-tanned leather that I wet formed the breast cups for, and these pieces and so on. I used the method of patterning where you put the plastic wrap and the masking tape around the figure, and I hand sketched everything out and then patterned it and cut out the pieces and wet formed it and then dyed it and then top stitched everything and sewed it back together. The dress, a great friend, Awkward Mayhem, came over and she custom patterned it for me. I'm still very new to sewing, so patterning is tough for me. So she made a custom pattern for me, and then I sewed everything together. The fabric is actually a polyester that I had to dye, which was challenging. I'd never dyed polyester before, which you have to do with boiling water, which was tough to find a pot that was big enough. It was just... when you have 2 weeks to make something, everything is a challenge. So yeah, it used to be like a nice cream color, but now it's the silver and pink. These are dragon scale chainmail, or scale mail that I attached one at a time. This is actually suede. This underskirt is actual leather, and so on. So managed to pull everything together in a week and a half, and then went down to New Mexico, and it was one of the most incredible experiences, I'm not joking, cosplay experiences I've ever had. Just being out in this beauty and experiencing cosplay with other people who appreciate the series and are fans and so on, in these sort of untapped, untamed places was just glorious, and it was a nice vacation and something that I really enjoyed. So I was going to give you guys an update on my cats. There he is. You want to see Sprinkles? He's huge now. No. He ran away. I'm trying to decide if I bolt for it, if I can get him. Sprinkles, come here. We'll see if he comes back. Because last time I showed you guys Sprinkles, he was just a wee kitten. He's our rescue kitten that has grown exponentially since then. He's recovered very well. So last little update is actually a question I want to pose for you guys. I'm going to show you some of the future cosplay I'm going to work on. So when DC sent me Atomic Wonder Woman, look what else they sent me. So this, I'm a big fan of the Amikami line, and this is going to be one of my next cosplay costumes. I'm so excited about it. Yeah, I'm just in love with the idea of the leather and this fake mohawk thing and the goggles and all that, and I've always wanted to do a version of that girl. So this will be in my, I don't know, semi-near future. I think I'm going to start that one beginning of next year. And then, before then, I would like to do a League of Legends costume, but I'm having a really hard time deciding who. I play a lot, but I haven't picked a main yet because I'm mostly playing all random so I can get to know all the characters, all the champions. So I'm trying to decide between a Defender Leona, which is awesome because she looks like the Juggernaut with this giant helmet thing on, and a female Twisted Fate. I just think that would be really cool, and I want to make the cards out of like engraved acrylic with LEDs in the bottom or something. I don't know. So if you have an opinion on that, let me know in the comments, and I will hopefully make a decision soon because I want to try to make something by the end of the year. You know, I'm not slowing down, I guess. Alright, I think that was it. I don't think I can get Sprinkles to come and say hello, but I post pictures of him on my Facebook all the time. He's huge now. So that was a long update, and it was totally rambling. I'll try to update more regularly, and so on. And I'm actually going to start trying to do some tutorials, including this week I'm going to attempt to do one on how to distress and do makeup to look all dirty and so on for various characters, because I get a lot of people asking me about that. But that's it for now. Thank you guys.